What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So I'm back from vacation. I pretty much took the whole month of October off, but now I'm back. We're going to be taking a look at the Saint of Braves Great Baan Gaan. Now this review is probably going to be cut into two parts because I know that it comes with the regular Baan Gaan and it comes with the super part. So I'll probably cut this into two parts, but we're going to be taking a look at that today. So we're not going to waste any more time. Let's go. So let's take a look at this manual. Now, of course, how this franchise goes is Baan Gaan was pretty much the last Brave series in the entire franchise. However, this one did not come out as a series. It was in a video game because apparently they had done all like the animation as far as like the openings and closings and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, I've never read any place where it says why they never made a series out of this. I have no idea. It wasn't like the ratings were waning or anything, especially with Gal Gadot, as popular as Gal Gadot is. So we don't really know why they ended up canceling the franchise after that. But yeah, so they put it into a game called Brave Saga, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be interesting to see if we ever get kind of more updated. I know they have a novel version of Baan Gaan that came out earlier this year. And so I don't know if we'll ever see this guy animated again. It would be nice though. And to be honest, you know, with this guy, as far as the box art goes, this might be the best box art from all of them. I know I say that quite a bit, but kotobukiya really be topping theirself with the box art. I think that this one looks spectacular. I don't think that there is another one that's better than this, and most of them are really, really good. So, you know, so you've got that. So we will be getting this guy. It looks like this one's gonna be a little bit thicker than a lot of the other manuals just because it does come with the great parts as well. So you kind of have to do double duty as far as that is concerned. I don't see anything out of the ordinary for kotobukiya, so I'll be very excited to get this guy. Of course, you got your color codes here. All right, so you've got that, and you've got Baan Gaan here, so that's the regular Baan Gaan there, and then you've got Great Baan Gaan over here. So he looks really, really good, so I am very excited to put this guy together. And then of course you've got the story for Baan Gaan here. This also comes with the if you need separate parts, but of course this is for Japan use only, so we cannot get, if you need extra parts, you're not gonna be able to get them in the States. I know I don't like that, but it is what it is. So what we will do is we'll get this guy built up and we'll take a look at him. So let's get to that. So let's take a look at everything that Baan Gaan comes with. So most of the accessories that he comes with are for the great version of Baan Gaan. He really doesn't have much as far as weapons and things of that nature, but we will take a look at these one by one. So first we have his twin lancers. This is Baan Gaan's primary weapon. And as you see, this is all solid orange. I had to do some detailing as far as to get it more like accurate. And so he had this jewel here in the middle, this green part here, but most of this stuff is solid color. So it's solid orange here, solid blue, and the red, of course, on the bottom. But he's got that. So he had the twin lancers, and then you could combine these together and it would become the dual lancer. And he would hold that like that. So that's what you have. This is pretty much the only weapon that he comes with. He did use like a rocket punch and some other weapons that are on him, but I'll go over that when I actually get to the model itself. But this is what you have for the dual lancers. Then you have his wings for Great Baan Gaan. These are extremely wide, but this will be for the great version of Baan Gaan. And so these are really, really big. This might be the biggest wingspan I can think of for Brave in general. Now, of course, they don't move or anything like that, but I'll get to how you put those on here in a little bit. But that's what you have for his wings. Then you have his chest piece, and this is without the dragon head, of course, but these are the two side pieces here that have the hawk
That is from Mock Spiron, I think is how you pronounce his name. Baan Gaan, I don't actually know that much because I never did play the Brave Saga games. But yeah, so this is kind of like his centerpiece, and then you would put the dragon head kind of in the middle, but we'll go over that with his transformation. So that's what you have for these. Then you have his feet, and of course, in typical Brave fashion, he has the platform shoes there. So this is one solid piece, and this is all solid red. I actually painted and detailed this black to be accurate to Baan Gaan himself. But he has two of those, of course, and it does have the ball joint here in the center, so you don't have to worry about those coming out. But you have his platform shoes there. So that's what you got for the feet. Next, we have his arms. So of course, this is for Great Baan Gaan, but he's got these as well. He does come with quite a bit of hands. We'll actually go over that here in a little bit. But yeah, so this is what you have for his hands. This is his shoulder pieces for the transformation. So as you can see with Great Baan Gaan, there's gonna be a ton of red in it. So, but these are the shoulder pieces for that. And of course you had to build all of these up. And, but it looks really, really nice. So we'll go over this more during his transformation. And then these are his two shin guards. So these will go around his knee parts for Great Baan Gaan. Of course, they don't move at all, but they do look pretty nice. You could do some detail work. I didn't think that there needed to be that much detail work on the wings and these parts because you can kind of see the definition even without any kind of panel lining in there. But you do have that available if you want to do those. So that's what you have like for the two knee guards. And then this is the crown piece for Great Baan Gaan. So you do have to do a little bit of detailing here in the where those black parts are there, but you know, it's pretty basic. But this is his crown, so of course we'll be going over most of this stuff during the transformation. But you have that. This is kind of the decorative piece for the dragon head for Great Baan Gaan. He's got a little jewel there, or at least that's what that's supposed to signify right there. So he's got that there as well. So that's another piece for the transformation. And this is a part of the backpack. So this will go on the back of Great Baan Gaan. So that's what you got for this here. It almost looks like a jet. I'm not really that knowledgeable about Great Baan Gaan since he wasn't a series. So, and I didn't play the Brave Saga games. So I only know kind of the basic stuff for him, even though he does look awesome. But yeah, so you've got this back piece part here. And then he has a plethora of hands. So he has two sets. For Baan Gaan, or the regular version, he has blue hands. For Great Baan Gaan, he has the grayish black hands. They're actually more gunmetal gray, so they're a little bit dark. But you've got those. So first we'll take a look at the blue hands. I'll take the gray hands off and we'll just concentrate on those since they're pretty much identical. So first up, we have his Lancer hands. You can use these to hold the Lancers. Now he does get two different sets of these that look almost identical, but they have different functions. And what it comes down to is it comes down to this piece here, to where one set of hands can move up and down like this. So you've got that one for those. And then for the second one, for the second set, you have these, and they almost look exactly identical, even though I think one might be a little bit wider than the other, but it's kind of hard to tell by the eye. But as those went up and down, this one goes the opposite direction. So you get maximum articulation out of the hands, especially since he doesn't really get much articulation out of his wrist, but we'll go through that when we get to the articulation there. So that's what you have for those two sets of hands. Then next you get the semi-open hands. So we've seen these before, so we've got those. No articulation as far as the ball joint here, so these don't move. That's just only for like the Lancer hands. So, but for these are in a fixed pose. So these are your semi-open hands, and then these are your wide open hands. So of course these don't move at all either. So, but you've got those as well. And then you get a gray set of all of the hands that I just showed. So that's what you have for the hands. So that's what we have for all of the accessories and the things that Baan Gaan comes with. Not a ton as far as weaponry is concerned. Most of that stuff has to do with his transformation, but we'll get into that stuff when we get to it. So now let's take a look at Baan Gaan himself. So let's just take a look at some of his detailing and stuff that he has on here. So he does look really, really good, I must admit, considering this is not even the great form of him. But of course he has the dragon head there. Out of most of the other ones that have dragon heads on it, this one actually looks like a dragon. Because sometimes with the brave ones, it's kind of hard to tell which ones are which. I mean, you can tell the lion ones apart, but sometimes they have like an eagle head or a dragon head, and you're not really sure which one is which. But he's got that there. His mouth will open. Okay, so you've got that there. He has the two cannons on the back, so those are kind of like his beam weapons there. So he's got that there. You've got quite a bit of detailing because he's kind of like a truck. Or like a carrier in the game. And so, you know, you've got those two parts there, but he looks really, really solid, I must admit. As far as my detailing is concerned, I just did some decent panel lining around the way there, even in the back there with the wings there. You've got those, and then these can actually move. You have 3 separate positions that you can place that in, but we'll go over that when we get there. For the bottom of the nav, this is all solid blue, but in order to make it more accurate, these two pieces, or these two sides here, need to be done in black. So I did that as well. You've got a little bit for the wheels here. Of course, they don't move at all, but you've got that there. Okay. And then, you know, for his feet, this is 2 separate pieces there, but it looks really, really solid. I must admit, he looks really good. I like this version of him, even though of course the Great Baan Gaan to me looks better, but he does look really, really solid in this form. So considering this is his first form. So that's what we've got as far as just taking a look at some of his detailing. I mean, he's got a bunch of like panel lining in here, so you will have some work to do. Not a ton. You know, I did some panel lining for the midsection there. And for the arms here, up here and here, you know, up here, did a little bit on the face and the crown there. I don't know if you can even see that, but on the face there and some of the crown here and the ear parts there. So, you know, he's got a decent level of detail, but this is what he looked like. He looks really solid, I must admit. So, but that's what we've got as far as his detail work. So now we will take a look at his articulation next. So let's take a look at Baan Gaan's articulation. So first we have his wings. So they do come out. You can also move these. This will be important for his transformation, but you can actually pull this out and then move this in. So it doesn't really move like in the traditional sense. It's kind of just set in place, but you have that for the wings on the back. Then for his guns on the back, those also move as well. Now, all of this stuff is on ball joints. So of course, if you play with it too much, they just kind of pop off. I don't know why that is with this one. This one seems to have a lot of joints that are like that, to where the ball joints are just not very deep, I guess. I don't know. I ain't got no clue how that works, but so you got that for the back guns. For his arms, he can raise his arms slightly, but not a ton. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because of his shoulder piece. This shoulder piece here, this goes into that little hole there. And anytime you try to move it, it just comes off. So unfortunately, so that limits his movement for his arm, unfortunately. So he can get it maybe about like that high, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. Now, of course, if you take it off, he has plenty of space there, but with that armor piece on, that limits his articulation. So that's what you have for the shoulder. Now, as far as him doing it 360, he can do that as well, but that's going to be limited by his shoulder as well, because if I try to spin this is actually going to come off. You're going to see, and you see how that comes off. So this piece here will fall off, and this piece here, and this happens with a couple of the Brave kotobukiya kits. It doesn't necessarily fall off, it just kind of unscrews, because there's your joint there for his arm. So when you put that in there a lot of times, and it likes to recess in there too. So let me see if I can pull that out real quick and try to put this back in there. All right, so we've got that recessed. So he can do it 360, but that's gonna wanna unwind there on that ball joint there. So I don't know I don't know if it's very good. I'm actually kind of disappointed in that for the arm movement. And I think it's just because his arms are too bulky, or maybe, I don't know, maybe those little pegs need to be longer so he has a little bit more leeway there. So that's what you have for the arm and the shoulder. Now for his elbow, he does have a decent elbow bend. All right, so you can move that up. Now, of course, he's gonna hit his like dragon head here, but you can move that up. So he's got a relatively decent one. Now, what I have noticed about this black piece here, because you slide this black piece on, a lot of times when you start moving the arm, this will fall off as well. So I don't really like that all that much. I kind of wish it was just a little bit more sturdy, but you do have that. The arm, it can, at the forearm, it can spin 360. So you can spin this. All right, it just takes a little bit, but you can spin it there. I don't know if you can do it at the bicep. It looks like the bicep you can't, okay? So unfortunately, so you can't do that there. Now, for his forearm here, where his wrist articulation comes in, is it comes in right here. So if I take this and push this forward, you see how all of that moves down there? That's where his wrist articulation is coming from. So, and we've seen that on Goldran and some of the other ones as well. So you've got that. As far as his actual wrist, he gets, he gets slight movement up and down. Left and right is probably the best one, but as far as up and down, it's very slight. So that's what you have for his arms. Now for his head, of course, he can look up, way up like that. He can look down. This is on a regular small ball joint there, so he can look down, side to side. That's the what there. He can spin this 360. So you've got that there. Just be careful with it, but it doesn't really get in the way because he doesn't have like any really high shoulder pieces other than on his actual shoulders. But like for the main part of the body, he doesn't really have anything hindering it there. So that's what you have for his head. And then for the dragon piece here, of course, you've got the mouth. It can open and close. All right, so you can kind of see this. I think he does have a flame attack there, so that's probably where that would come from. And then the side pieces will move slightly, so you can do a little bit more posing, probably as far as sword posing and stuff like that. So you've got that a little bit for the dragon head. Now for the midsection, he does have relatively good articulation. Kotobukiya has been doing really well as far as ab articulation, but unfortunately I'm gonna need to pull the dragon head off so you can kind of see what's going on here, because that dragon head is so big. So of course you've got this here, so he can raise this, he can go all the way down like that. All right, and then he can raise this all the way up. All right, and this is kind of like the ball joint that they had for Super Build Tiger and how his midsection was constructed. You have a lot of that here as well. So he has really good articulation as far as his ab control is concerned. So he can really do some stuff with that. He can go from side to side, so he's got that there. Can he do 360 as this part falls off? As far as doing 360, you can actually probably swing this part almost a little bit more than 90 degrees for the top part. And then for the bottom part, you're gonna hit this back piece here. You're gonna hit his back skirt there. So unfortunately, it's not gonna be able to spin 360, but you still do have some really good articulation there. So I'll give them a pass on that. So that's what you have for the ab articulation. And then for the waist section, of course, his front skirts will move up and down. So you got it like that. Of course, as you raise the thigh, a lot of times this will kind of come out. So you just have to be cognizant of that. As far as his side skirts, these are gonna wanna pop off a lot. So just be cognizant of that. So you've got that on the side, but they will move like from left to right, and they'll go slightly up, but not by much. And a lot of times, especially if you're gonna try to do the splits on this guy, you're not gonna get much just due to that side skirt there. For the back skirt, it will move in and out. So you do have some articulation there as well for the back skirt. And then for the thigh, so let's move this up here to see how high his leg will go. That's right around 90 degrees. Like I said, you probably could get higher, but this front skirt here is gonna wanna come off. So just be cognizant of that. He does have a decent knee bend. So not too bad. I think I've seen better, but it's okay, I would say. So you've got that. Now, can he do the splits? He's not gonna be able to do the splits with the side skirts on, I don't think. Well, I mean, it's barely on there. As you see, it just kind of falls off. But without it, he clearly can do it. But with it on, you're gonna have to try to move it out of the way. Maybe let's move it to the side, maybe like that, and see if that works. Yeah, it's still gonna wanna pop off there. So that's what you have for that. So he can do the splits somewhat, but you'll probably have to remove the side skirts for that. So that's what you have for his legs. Now for his feet, it can raise up. It won't really go down, but it can go up quite a bit, as you can see. So you got that. You kind of got rock from side to side, so you can do that. Also, his ankle joint is kind of recessed in here, so you'd have to kind of pull that down. Let's see if I can do it here real quick. Let's pull this down. So that'll kind of give you a little bit more room to clear that space there. As you see, these things just want to kind of pop off, but let me put it back in there. But if you look, matter of fact, I'll just pull it off so you can see. So you can see this is the joint here for his ankle, and you see how that's kind of recessed in there. And so a lot of times when you're trying to mess with the feet, a lot of times this will get caught on that, so it doesn't move all the way down. So you've got that issue there. It's not really an issue, it's just, unfortunately, that kind of limits how the foot moves. But overall, I think it's not too bad. So I do like the up articulation. Maybe if it had some down articulation, I would like that. But if you're gonna kind of point it down, you can do it, but you got to move the entire foot down like that. So that's what you have for the feet. And then one part I forgot with the hips is that he does have the swing bar mechanism right here in the waist section. So you can move that down like that. So you can kind of get those kind of heroic stances. You can raise that all the way up and then kind of stand him up like that. So, you can do that. Let's see if we can get him to stand here. So overall, I mean, when it comes to his articulation is okay. I'm kind of disappointed in the shoulders. I would have wanted the shoulders to really move a little bit better without this piece popping off all the time. He has a lot of pieces that are gonna pop off. And believe it or not, it's actually not the sharp edges or anything, but this piece will come out. If you're moving the legs too much, this side skirt will pop off. You've got this black piece here, you've got the shoulder here that will pop off. If you mess around with the gun on here, this will come off. So I don't know if I like that. Unfortunately, I don't know what I'll do with the final score with those pieces being that loose. I really don't like that. I have definitely seen better. I thought the Garn was better. I would say that quite a few of the ones that have come out recently are better when it comes to articulation, but it's not horrible. I've definitely seen worse. So that's what we have for articulation. Now we'll start doing his transformation. So next we're going to do his transformation. In typical kotobukiya fashion, it's mainly just pulling most of his parts off and then putting the super parts on. So this is really no different. So we're gonna do that. So there you have him, Great Baan Gaan. He looks amazing. He has, his wings are really, really big. So let's take a look at him here. So, of course, now what I will say, first thing that I've noticed is that with the weight of the wings, it does make him want to lean back. So he does have a little bit of trouble standing, but it's not too bad. I've seen worse. So you just have to kind of position it in a way to where it doesn't want to kind of lean forward, and that'll kind of fix that. But when he's standing straight up, he does kind of want to lean back. So he does have that. Now with the two front parts here, these can move up and down. It really just goes back to its normal state here, but it can go up. So you can kind of get the arms in the way if you want to do some sort of two-handed pose or something like that. You can do that there. Now for the wings, let's take a look at this back part here. Now the back part of these wings will slide into the first slot, and you have to move the baangaan wings to the third slot here. Now the thing is, they don't really move because it is in an octagon shape. So if you want to slightly move it, you're going to have to pull it out and then rotate it down somehow and then put it back in there. So I don't know if I like that all that much. I would have preferred them to kind of be able to move a little bit more than that. But, you know, considering the design, I think that it's really, really good. So, you know, you do have some parts there. You know, the add-on for the shoulders is okay. The problem that it has is that original peg for baangaan, I don't know if it's too short or it's not strong enough, but I just don't like it. It tends to, every time you move the arms, this part here just wants to come off, and I really, really don't like that. But what you also have that I haven't gone over is you get these extra parts here. Now, if you remember this came with, I want to say, Dino Geist and Super Build Tiger. These are the extended parts for the neck, and so they do give you two of those. This is usually for photos, so you can kind of have that looking down look, and we'll do that real quick. But it's a good thing that they gave you these, so good on kotobukiya for putting these extra ones in here. So let's cut this out, and then we'll put the head on, and we'll get a chance to see what that looks like. All right, so let's pull his head off here, and then you can pull this out. If I can pull that off. All right. Oh, yeah. And you just see how that arm falls off. Yeah, that connection piece here is a little, I just don't know. I don't like how the arms are constructed like that. I mean, it looks good, but I've noticed that it doesn't like to stay in there that much. I don't know if it's just mine or what. But anyway, so let's take a look at these. So these are the differences between the two kind of neck pieces. So that's the elongated one there, and then if I can actually grab this one. Okay, so this is the elongated one here, and then this is the normal one there. So you can kind of see the size difference there. So it looks like he has a really long neck when you put this on. So we'll take this one, put the old one, put that to the side. We'll take this new one, put it on here. Okay, and then we can slide that into that slot there. Okay, so as I said, it does look kind of strange if you're looking at it head on, but what you've got really good articulation there, especially for photos. If you're looking kind of up at an angle like that, so you can actually see his face, because a lot of times with all this armor and stuff that he's got on, sometimes when it comes to photo shoots and stuff like that, it can hide his face. I've noticed that with almost all of the Brave kits. I would say especially like the Goldran, Super Build Tiger, and some of the other ones, they seem to do that a lot. So that's what it looks like. So when you look at it from the side, it doesn't look too bad, but when you look at it kind of head on like this, and if I actually pull the neck back, it does look kind of strange. So, but I still do like that for photo purposes. It actually doesn't look too bad right there. So you get a chance to see his head. So that's what you've got. So it does have some articulation problems as far as the shoulders. The shoulders to me are the really bad part with this. Now, as far as the feet are concerned, the feet are okay. I mean, you're not gonna really get anything because these two connect pieces are here. As far as the back will kind of keep him stable here because he has these two parts here and here, and that'll kind of keep him upright. But as you see, he is kind of wanting to lean back just a little bit, but you just kind of have to mess with the midsection to kind of get that to work. But you know, it doesn't look too shabby. So I really do like the look. I just like that articulation to me is lacking a little bit. So of course you got the dual lance. Now he doesn't really have any other weapons. He does have like some like beam attacks and stuff like that, but I'm not really an aficionado on Baan Gaan, to be honest. I think he's only had like 2 or 3 releases that I know of. There's like a DX version, but that one was only limited to maybe like 250 pieces or 1,000 pieces or something like that. It wasn't very much. So we don't really get a lot of Baan Gaan a lot. So we can actually, let's open his mouth there. So we can open his mouth there. So he does look really, really solid. So next, what we'll do is we will do some size comparisons with some of the other kotobukiya Brave kits, and we'll do that next. So now let's do some size comparisons real quick. I'm not gonna take out all of the kotobukiya ones, but we're gonna take out a few here and we'll take a look and see what they look like together. So of course, Baan Gaan does have the elongated neck on there, so that still has that on there. Now, the other kotobukiya kit that had a really wide wingspan was Great Goldran. So when you put Great Goldran, he's actually quite a bit taller than Great Goldran, as you can see. So Great Goldran, he actually makes Great Goldran look kind of small right there, but their wingspan is, I would say that Baan Gaan's is still bigger. It's wider than Goldran's, but you know, it is comparable. But as you can see, he is quite a bit bigger. So you have him, and then we have the one that I did recently in Great Baan Gaan GX. So you have that one there. He's also quite a bit smaller, not by a ton. I would say that Great Baan Gaan GX is probably about the same size as Great Goldran. So it does look like Baan Gaan is kind of going to be towering over all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him to the back there just slightly. Well, I'm looking at it from behind him. It may be roughly the same height. It's kind of hard to tell. Let me actually move Great Goldran out of the way here so we can actually see these two. Let's see. Yeah, I would say Great Baan Gaan is slightly taller than Great Baan Gaan GX, but not by a ton. So actually, I would say that they're probably a little bit more comparable than with Great Goldran, because Great Goldran seems quite short in comparison. So yeah, I would say, yeah, he's a little shorter than those two. And actually, let me move Great Goldran out of the way. So we've got him. The other one I'll bring out is Super Build Tiger. Now, Super Build Tiger, he's probably about the same size, I would say. Yeah, I would say he's about the same size as Great Baan Gaan. Yeah, well, no, actually, he's a little shorter too, isn't he? Yep. But actually, I'm looking at his head. Now, of course, Great Baan Gaan has the elongated head, so that may be what's messing me up. Super Build Tiger does look shorter than Great Baan Gaan. Yeah, I would still say that Great Baan Gaan is probably taller than him. So we got that. And then, of course, I wanted to bring out one of the Bandai ones. So, of course, as you've heard me say 100 times now, we're going to bring out the Bandai Firebird. So he is bigger than that. Of course, the other three are in their super forms, to where this is not. This is the regular Firebird, Great Firebird. I don't think I've actually done a video on that one, but I think Firebird was like the second review I ever did on the channel. So, but this is still one of my favorite designs. So that's what they look like together. They look spectacular. I will say that Great Baan Gaan looks really, really good. From just an aesthetic standpoint, the wingspan is super wide. You are going to need a lot of room in your DTOF for this guy. He will fit in there, but the way that mine is kind of set up, I may have to have him towering over everybody else, but he does look solid. So that's what we've got for size comparisons. So now let's get into final thoughts.
So, last thoughts on this guy. You know, this one is a little bit of a mixed bag, this Great Baan Gaan. I think aesthetically wise, he looks immaculate. It might be one of the most stunning of all of the Brave figures that I have. It really looks spectacular. However, I think where it lacks in articulation, and you know, that piece on the shoulder that anytime I move the arms, it just falls off. That is a really big bummer. Also, I've had a couple of instances off camera where the wings will fall off. The guns on the back, those will come off anytime you try to move them. So I don't know if it's just the ball joint stuff or what, but for whatever reason, this one seems to be a little bit more, let's say, delicate than most of the other Brave kits that I've gotten from kotobukiya. Even though he looks spectacular, you know, you have to kind of deal with him with baby gloves. As far as detailing and stuff, there's not a ton of work that you have to do like you had to do with the Great Baan GX stuff. With this one, not as much. You do have to do some detailing for the double lance and some of that, because those are pretty bare bones as far as colors are concerned. So you have to kind of add the black and the green stuff on there and the little jewel on there. So you got to do that. And this is pretty much just basic panel lining work. Nothing too difficult. So this really lacks in the articulation. Now we are supposed to be getting a upgrade set with this, with Mach's Spiron, I think is what it's called. I'm not an aficionado for Baan Gaan, as this was the one bot that really never made it to an animated series and that I have not seen, and I have not played the Brave Saga games. So unfortunately, this is the one that I probably know the least about, which is unfortunate considering how spectacular he looks. He looks like he could really do some damage here. So it's definitely going to take up a lot of space in your DTOF, so you might want to make room. I will say, I don't know if I would say that he's unstable. I don't necessarily believe that he's unstable. It's just that just due to the weight of the wings, it does make it a little bit more difficult to move, and the fact that the two chest pieces are extremely wide, even though those will move, to kind of give you a little bit more wiggle room as far as articulation is concerned. I'm just not sure. Now, with Baan Gaan, there hasn't been that many releases of him. So I think for that alone, this is probably the best one that you'll get outside of the DX version, which was limited to only, you know, like either a couple hundred pieces or maybe like 1,000 pieces or something like that. So that one is actually very difficult to get your hands on, and it's very, very expensive. With this one, I think this is probably the best of both worlds. You still kind of get the magnificence of how he looks as far as Great Baan Gaan is concerned, but you don't have to pay those DX prices. So that's what I would say for this. You know, out of this guy, out of 10, I'm probably going to give him about an 8. I think an 8 is solid. He's not great, but I think overall, just aesthetic wise, he's very, very good. And you know, one of the last ones, I think this is the only one that I needed left for my Brave collection. So I don't think I think I got almost every other series. So I think this was the last one that I needed. I'd have to go back through and look, but yeah, I think that this is really, really good. I would probably put this guy on a stand, and then you probably won't have to worry about the weight issues or any of that stuff. So you know, I think if you get him up on a stand,
have him kind of in the back. I don't know where I'm gonna put him in my DTOF, as my DTOF is already full with Brave stuff in there. And since he takes up so much space, it's gonna be interesting to see what I do as far as where I put him. But that's what I've got. So thank you guys for watching the video. I know that I had to take a little bit of a break last month, but we are back. I am waiting for a bunch of stuff to come in, and it's taking a lot longer than I had hoped. So, you know, I don't know as far as going forward in the next month or so, especially for the holiday season. This tends to be a very busy time for me, but I will do my best to keep you guys abreast as to what's going on, and I will keep doing videos as we go forward. So if you can like, comment, and subscribe to the video. We're on the road to 1,000. I think I'm at 920 right now, so if we can get to 1,000 by the end of the year, that'll be very, very good. As far as what I've got coming up next, I'm probably gonna do another metal build. I haven't decided which one. I know someone asked me to do the high new, as I only did the weapon set for that one, so I'll probably do that one next. But you know, and I've got a couple of other surprises that are coming in. I'm just kind of waiting for them to come from Asia. So that's what we've got today. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.